Check mic. Check mic. All right. I don't think anybody still hears us. All right. I don't think so. All right. Let me double check here what is going on. All right. Let's see here. Hold on one second. Check mic. Check mic. Oh, wait. I think we got a hot mic. All right. We got a hot mic. Talk, Kyle.
All right. I don't think anybody.
No, we do. I just turned it on. So everybody can hear us now.
Okay. All right, everybody. We
double check here.
We are live, and obviously completely sorry what has happened here. Total debacle starting out of the gate, but just know that this was not intentional. We'll need to go back and redo the opening scene. For those of you that came on early, I see you. I thank you for sticking with us, especially Average Kirk Cooks, Blake Doyle, and thank you, gentlemen, for sticking with us and helping us get through the audio issues that we have experienced. We appreciate you. Let's get started. Kyle, how are you doing? Another episode of House of Fandom. It has been a crazy week here in our home city. Tampa Bay are Super Bowl champions. I know we're not going to be talking a lot in detail because you hate talking about it, but I will say you got to give it to them. They came through, and they came through big. What are your initial thoughts?
My initial thought is I'm really disappointed that everyone missed the really weird conversation we were having when we thought we were live initially. I'm a little disappointed that got left on the cutting room floor. So we can save that for later. But it was very weird. And let me just say, whatever you think it is that we're talking about, it was probably weirder. So I'm a little disappointed in that. I'm disappointed in the Super Bowl. It was boring beyond belief.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know we're not here to talk about sports betting. But,
no, but I mean,
lost all those. So that was great.
Right.
Wasn't a very entertaining halftime show. Wasn't a fan. A lot of just it was not a good. I didn't enjoy it. I mean, nothing about it was good for me.
All right, so it sounds like it was definitely a no bueno situation, huh?
I didn't think so. Did you? So since we're an entertainment show, did you like the halftime show?
I'm glad you brought it up because I thought the halftime show was an absolute mess. It was a disaster. I hated it. I thought it was self-indulgent, especially in a time of a national pandemic or worldwide pandemic. It just did not vibe with the actual venue. I mean, I'm all for artistic, expression, but this was just, for me, it was way over the top. The jock straps on the guys' heads, whatever it was supposed to be. I mean, it was a complete mess. I didn't like it, and so that's how I feel about that.
So the part where he's like in the mirror room and it's like he's got the phone and he's
Mm-hmm.
doing this whole thing.
Did he get lost?
I don't know, but I shit you not, I was like, I had to turn away from the TV because I was getting motion sick watching this.
Yeah, so was I.
Camp situation.
Yeah.
It was not pleasant to watch.
Listen, for me, it was a complete mess. I did not like it one bit, and frankly, I just was ready for it to end.
I'm calling it now, Lady Gaga 2022. I'm petitioning for it.
Oh, yeah? Again?
The last Lady Gaga one was actually really good. So,
I loved it, especially when she jumped off like SpongeBob. Oh, blah! Yeah, that
Lady
was
Gaga 2022.
That was pretty funny.
The petition starts here.
Yeah, overall, though, it wasn't a really great show, as far as the actual halftime show. But I was ready for it to go over. But, hey, congratulations to the hometown team here in the Tampa Bay area. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are Super Bowl champions, and that's something. And they did it on their home turf. That's even something even more, the odds were definitely stacked against them. So, anyway, let's dive right into fandom news. Obviously, the first thing I want to talk about in fandom news is the Heath Ledger, not Heath Ledger. Jared Leto, the revised, updated Joker, right, has been released. He has long hair. And what are your initial thoughts with this picture? I'm going to send you another one in just a moment, but I just want your initial thoughts first.
Okay, so initial thoughts. Okay, so everyone is like this. You know, the big criticism of Zack Snyder is just like how dark and not fun the films are. Mm-hmm. He clearly just said fuck it with this Justice League thing. He's just doing whatever he wants. He's gonna make it ridiculously dark. Let's just all accept it as this is what it is, you know. So I'm intrigued by this whole Joker thing because the portrayal in Suicide Squad was not great. It was like Jared Leto like went full send in a bad movie, and that's kind of that's pretty embarrassing. I'm embarrassed for him. I won't lie. So I don't know. I don't know if this offers any redemption in that regard, but I think ultimately this Snyder Cut isn't even supposed to be canon for the DC Extended Universe anyway. So it's kind of just a whatever kind of deal as far as I think perception of him as the Joker moving forward. Is he going to be in any more films?
I'm hearing this one is a one and done. I don't think he's returning to the role, but perhaps it'll offer some level of redemption. We all know that his part in Suicide Squad was drastically cut. Maybe we'll see a uncut version or the director's cut of Suicide Squad, but we know that his version of the Joker was maligned, and so it'll be interesting to see if this provides any redemption for him.
Is this part of the reshoots that produced this whole
Correct.
thing?
Correct.
Okay, so he came back specifically to
He came back, and they completely, obviously changed his look. When I say they, I mean Zack Snyder. He basically came in and said, I want to redo this. I want to give you a different look, the inspired look that I had originally envisioned for this Joker, and here it is. And so we are given this version of the Joker that we did not see in the Suicide Squad. So I really do want your initial. What is your initial thoughts?
I'm just over it, man. I'm on to Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker now. I don't know. I'm kind of over this whole we're trying to make the Joker thing work. Mm-hmm. Let's start over, okay? Let's go. Let's do other villains, do other characters. We'll come back to the Joker in like 15 years when we all have, we're further removed from Heath Ledger. I don't know. It's now being done too much, and I'm over it.
You're over it. Do me a favor. Take a look at your phone. I sent you another picture of it, of Jared Leto. I am curious as to what you think as far as his full regalia, his full getup, his full look with the long hair. What are your thoughts, after seeing that?
So Jared Leto's starting a black metal band. That's happening.
And average Cook says that we just don't understand art. So I don't know.
I don't know. Look, I'm intrigued. This is interesting.
Thank you.
It is interesting. It's just I don't know. It doesn't get me hard like it would have 5 years ago.
It doesn't.
I think it's because I mean, truthfully, like Suicide Squad was a giant disappointment, and so now I have a hard time now getting up for anything. With some of these films. So
I mean, we know that Suicide Squad was a complete. What we saw in the preview and what we got in the theater was two different things, and I think you could agree with that.
Yeah. So Goyer directed that one, right?
Right, David Goyer. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What has he directed else? I mean, what has he done that's good? Fury, and then what?
Not much.
Who at Warner Brothers was like, okay, go forth? do whatever. Like who signed off on that?
Well, apparently they didn't because the film was severely cut in post-production, and so what we got was a truncated version of the Suicide Squad, making it more, I don't know, making it more fun, I guess.
But they obviously got really far into the process of this film before someone at Warner Brothers was like, "We don't like this."
Right.
Because they clearly were really far into it. So somebody either was slacking on the job of checking up on Suicide Squad, or they were just like, "Hey man, go do whatever you want." Then they saw an early cut and were like, "Oh shit, what are we doing?"
Yeah, I completely agree. I think the biggest issue with the Suicide Squad was, you expected the Joker to have a big part in the film, and the Joker did not have really a good part at all. In fact, it just seemed like he was there just let's throw the Joker in there, you know what I mean? So that so that we could have something to to kind of like I move the story forward for what's her name? What's the character's name? The girlfriend?
For Harley Quinn?
For Harley Quinn, right. So I think that I don't know. I mean, I thought it was a disappointing performance. I don't think it was his fault. I think Jared Leto is a great actor when given the right material.
He was really good in Blade Runner 2049, which came out shortly after Suicide Squad. Right. I thought he was very good in that.
Well, if you saw him in Dallas Buyers Club, he was amazing. I mean, that was a really raw, performance, and I thought he did an outstanding job. Well-deserved Oscar win there.
I will say I am very, very intrigued about this whole James Gunn Suicide Squad film that's coming out. I don't know if you've seen stuff on
this. Yes, I have.
I am very intrigued by it.
It looks just about as close as you can get to batshit crazy that you would want with the Suicide Squad.
It's gonna be nuts.
And you know it's gonna be batshit crazy when James Gunn says, "Thank you, Warner Brothers, for not getting involved and basically inserting your producer notes or whatever it was, so yeah, I definitely or what do they call that word, not interrupting, but when you go in and you're don't mess in my pond, don't piss in my pond, right? Or
somebody get him a thesaurus, man.
Yeah, I need a dude. I don't know why there's no words today, man. There's no words. But I tell you what, man, there is one word that I've been thinking about all weekend, and that is WandaVision, man. WandaVision. Let me say, and we're playing it in a loop here. This last episode was sensational. It was freaking crazy. It was batshit crazy.
Spoilers. There's going to be spoilers.
Right.
There's no way I talk about this and there's not spoilers.
Yeah, if you have not seen it, if you haven't seen the latest episode 5 of WandaVision, stop the presses. Don't listen any further. Go watch it and then come back and then hear what we got to say, because we do have a lot to say with regards to WandaVision. What is the future of Marvel, and what are the implications here when you think about WandaVision and what we saw? Actually, what's on the screen right now is the big reveal at the end. But before we get into that, what was your initial thoughts and where was your holy shit moment?
So it's funny is if any of you watch Townie Sports, we had the Super Bowl pregame show on Saturday.
We did.
Right. On that, I made some comment like that I was dropping early and I was going to watch WandaVision, and I laid forth at that point this idea of X-Men being the X-Men from 21st Century Fox being introduced because in the Scarlet Witch has this reality altering power that's being demonstrated in WandaVision. I was like, this is how they bring X-Men in. It's just need it. It's great. Because I'll tell you, the younger cast of X-Men for 21st Century Fox, I think is cast really, really well. They have had some really bad movies, but it was not the casting. I think the cast was very well done. And so I'm like, we can do this. We can make it happen. And so I've been waiting for a payoff from this stinking WandaVision show. first 2 episodes didn't give me a damn thing, and I was so frustrated because I'm like, you're hinting at something cool, and you're just teasing me. I hate it. This episode, doorbell rings. There's a silver-haired guy at the front door. I look at my wife and I'm like, the guy's dead. What are we even doing now? Like, what is this? And then he turned around and it was Evan Peters, and my wife like loudly in my ears like, "Oh my god!" And oh my God, this is excellent. I immediately. So you were still on the pregame show, and I was texting you, Victor and Sammy.
Yes.
I was like, stop the pregame show, go watch WandaVision. Oh my God, watch WandaVision. And you text back, we're still on the show, and I'm like, fuck the show.
Yeah, and let me just say, for those of you that don't know Kyle already, it's gonna take a lot to impress him. You know that song by what's her name? That don't impress me much. What's that country singer's name? I forgot her name, but
I don't know. I don't listen.
Okay. Well, anyway, my point is I think it was not Faith Hill, but the other lady. Anyway, the point is that Kyle, you gotta really impress him. You gotta wine and dine him to really be impressed when it comes to any kind of program that he's watching. In this case, WandaVision. And let me tell you, it wasn't like he was immediately sold, because in the beginning he was like, yeah, it's a here, it's a there. It's all right,
I'm in now.
It's all right, Clark. But he's all in. This guy was like a kid in a freaking candy store. No, even better. This guy was like a guy in a freaking a wig store. Okay, so anyway,
I can't even be mad about that.
No, you can't. I gotta be honest with you. I was super stoked. I really enjoy Evan Peters' performance as Quicksilver. I thought he was awesome with what little he had to use as far as material. I thought it was great. I am excited that they are hopefully bringing them into the Marvel universe in the capacity that I believe they're headed in. But I have to tell you, I was super stoked that he showed up on there. And I don't know about you, but like, what are your initial thoughts? Like, what's gonna happen? What is your prediction? Talk to me, man. Talk to me, brother. Talk to me, brother.
So we all know that the next Doctor Strange film is the Multiverse of Madness.
Right.
Is the title. And my understanding is that Wanda is in that film.
Mm-hmm.
So, what has happened, and don't at me if you watch this episode in 2 weeks and I'm proven wrong. The 6th episode hasn't come out yet. That film hasn't come out yet. Call them your tits, okay? It's fine. But right now, this is what I'm calling it. So she picked him up. They've established in this episode that they can't create matter. Like, she can't create matter. She merely alters it. It's not. She's not just pulling shit out of the air. Okay. So somehow he has been pulled out of an alternate dimension, an alternate universe, which is got to be the 21st Century Fox X-Men universe into this one. Okay, now I want you to realize that the multiverse has been introduced in Avengers Endgame.
Right.
Okay.
Well, we know that
the whole concept of the multiverse. So we've established that exists. So he has been picked up out of that one, dropped into this one. I am going to go ahead and say that this starts getting really, really muddy through the rest of the show with people from other universes. Okay. And we also saw in Spider-Man Far From Home at the end, J. Jonah Jameson, same J. Jonah Jameson from the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. So we are already starting to blur the lines of universes here. I think that this is going to cause some kind of seismic event that the Doctor Strange film is all about rectifying. But this is going to be the pathway to introduce mutants and the X-Men into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. All shit's breaking loose, and it's going to be fucking amazing.
Okay, so listen, a lot to unpack. I had to say, I wish I would have told you earlier to breathe for just a moment, because you had so much. You had so much to say. A couple of things, right? So when you say the X-Men, the X-Men will be integrated or brought into the Marvel universe, do we get new actors, or are we going to see a James McAvoy as Professor X?
Give me James McAvoy. Give me the same cast. The only person that I don't love from the old cast is the chick from Game of Thrones, who's Jean Grey. I don't really love her that much, so we can do without her. But everyone else, bring them all in. Let's see what you can do within the continuity of the MCU with some better writers.
Okay, fair enough. Now, do you think? Okay, a couple of things to unpack from that statement. Are we thinking Wolverine a return? You know who I'm thinking of, right?
I know. I don't. I think he's done.
Hugh Jackman. You think he's done completely? I don't.
Logan was the perfect send-off for Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, listen. Logan was the perfect send-off in that universe. But this is the multiverse of universe, man.
Yeah,
we could the multiverse of all multiverses. We could do whatever the hell we want now.
Yeah, but he's getting older, and Wolverine doesn't. I mean, I guess he does age, because I guess they established that in Logan.
Exactly.
But, I mean, I guess you could say bring him in, but I don't know, man. I kind of want him to let him lie. Let's look into some other mutants. Let's do something else other than Wolverine, because so many of those X-Men movies were about Wolverine. Like, let's do something else. There's a lot of other mutants.
All right, so you think that we should table like Wolverine, who is arguably the biggest character of the X-Men?
You need to give it 20 years.
Come on. Ain't gonna happen. Listen, you're dreaming, Strebeck. You are dreaming, Strebeck. Dream on. That is not gonna happen. You know, and I know that it's not gonna happen.
I do not want a recasting of Wolverine in the next, 3 to 5 years. Because, I don't know. I have a hard time with anybody that's not Hugh Jackman being Wolverine. I have a tough time with it. I'm not sold.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. I don't know. I'm excited about the integration. I thought the actor who portrayed, what is his name? With the thing on the head, with the tin can on his head.
Magneto?
What was it? Dr. What?
Magneto?
I'm sorry. Say that one more time. Magneto. Yes, Magneto. Sorry about that. I couldn't hear you for a moment.
So Michael Fassbender played Magneto.
Correct. I thought he did a phenomenal job as Magneto. James McAvoy was an excellent, outstanding, Professor X. He put his own spin into it, I believe, while paying homage to what came before, obviously, the great Patrick Stewart. Dude, there's so many endless there's endless storylines that they could go through and really cover. What do you want to see happen? And what is going on with Wanda?
She's a little loco.
a little
loco.
She's like this. Look. And you're my best husband. I love you very much. I love you very much.
She is. I'll tell you this though. I like her better. I like her better as this lunatic version of Scarlet Witch than I think I did in some of the other Marvel films as a sane person. I think I like this version of her better. I think she portrays it better.
Let me ask you, what do you think? In which Marvel film did she have in obviously the first few phases? Which film did she have the most to do, in your opinion? The best script, the best character development? Would you say
this show? Honestly, I think introducing an Ultron, and I don't think a lot of people didn't really love that Avengers. There were some weird writing issues with that. Yeah, I didn't think she was great with that. The accent, the Sokovian accent, sounded super fake.
Right.
Ridiculously fake. And you notice they started phasing that out as the films progressed.
Mm-hmm.
I thought she was the most interesting film-wise in Civil War. But, I mean, this show has done a better job with her writing than I think any of those films did.
Interesting. I completely agree with you. I mean, without a doubt. I
like you agreeing with me. I don't. It feels weird.
I know. Listen, weird. I have to say that for me, I thought that it showed how good of an actress Ashley I'm sorry. What is Elizabeth Olsen?
Elizabeth Olsen.
Right, which is obviously she's sister to the famous Olsen twins, right? From Full House. A little fun fact.
From Full House, yes. No,
Yep.
I think everybody knows that. I don't know if that's a fun fact.
Well, just in case. I like to say fun fact. But here's the thing. I think what we saw in this 5 episodes in is great script, excellent execution. The secondary characters, supporting characters, I'm enjoying them a lot. Like Detective, what is that detective or agent? What was his name? But it's
generic,
right,
generic comedic relief guy. I
right,
don't know.
and then also the scientist lady.
I don't love Kat Dennings. I don't know.
Really?
I don't love Kat Dennings in this. You don't need her and the agent are supposed to be the comedic relief, but they're in all the same scenes together, and so I don't know. It's something really sinister happening with Wanda in the town, and then these two are just dicking around in the tents with the FBI outside of it. I don't know. That's weird. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of her.
Okay, well, I'm a fan,
for me.
so I disagree with you.
You can be a fan, but I think she was the worst part of all those Thor movies too.
Well, whatever. Tomato. Speaking of Thor, they're filming the newest Thor film, which is going to be what is it called? Back to Bedrock or something?
Love and Thunder.
Love and Thunder. There we go.
What are you talking about? So here's the thing I've been considering. So the first 22 movies was the initial Infinity Saga, right? That concluded obviously with Endgame. I was kind of over the whole. All right, we have more superhero movies coming. Oh God, what are they going to do now?
I agree.
And I saw the slate of films coming out. Not that interested, but okay, cool. It's happening. The only way that they get me on this is if they do this scenario with the X-Men. If you have this giant overarching thing that involves X-Men, I'm in.
So you're all in. This is you.
Take my money.
You're like,
doing it.
Take my money. I want in. This is going to be amazing. I'm ready to do it.
100%. That's how you. Because look, I have from the Marvel world, X-Men is the one that I have the most positive feelings about. Because who doesn't remember in the 90s watching the X-Men animated series on Saturday mornings? They were great. So for me, emotionally, X-Men's where it's at. So you got me here. I am very interested if they do something with the Fantastic Four. That's another thing that I'm thinking about.
Well, there's a property. Yeah, there's a property that completely. Yeah, they couldn't get it right, and which is a shame because I think if they had a better director and a better writer, we wouldn't have had the issues we had. I think that I never even saw the one that was a flop at the box office. Yeah, I didn't watch that one, but I heard it was absolutely trash. But let me just say before you say your thought, was it worse than the last X-Men film?
Yes.
Oh man, that must have really been bad then.
Let me. Again, this isn't a spoiler. This film came out 6 years ago, so if you get upset about that, fuck you. That Fantastic Four film, the casting, I'm all in again. Really good casting. Very interested. The actors are fine that are in that movie. It is like Josh Trank started making a film. Okay,
I'm following you.
Halfway through it, he just woke up and was like, I don't like that film. Instead of starting over, I'm just gonna time jump and have a different film. That's what happens in the film. It's ridiculous. Things are progressing a certain way, and then there's just this random gap of a time jump, and then we're doing something else entirely. It's so choppy, and it's annoying because there's actually like a couple of scenes where I'm like, I see what he was trying to do here, and it's kind of cool. Like there's a scene where Doctor Doom is like walking down this hallway, and there's like flashing luminescent lights, and he is just like murdering people in this hallway. Like, awesome, but it's in the midst of like the shittiest movie. It blows my mind. Okay, because the makings of a good film.
So no good.
And it was horrible. The X-Men Apocalypse film was. It wasn't bad enough to like get me all rageful about it. It just was kind of like it was there. It existed, and no one cares. Is my best summation of X-Men, it wasn't Apocalypse, Dark Phoenix, sorry. X-Men Apocalypse was similar in that it was just kind of there. That they had a string of rough ones there at the end.
Yeah, I listen, I think, I hate to say it, but Bryan Singer did do a good job with the Days of Future Past. I thought that was I thought it was really well made. I mean, obviously he's a nut job. We know the issues that he has. Yeah, but I mean, I was impressed with the way they brought both of those different actors from different time frames into the equation, which kind of really is that whole multiverse anyway, when you think about it.
I mean, that X-Men timeline is a mess. Okay, it really is a mess. So we can call it a multiverse if we want. Whatever it is a mess. It is really hard to follow. And if you haven't done this and you just say, hey, I've got 5 days just to burn for the hell of it, rewatch these X-Men films and explain to me the timeline.
Right.
It makes no sense. Zero sense. It is saved in a lot of cases because the actors involved with the films are that good. I mean, like Ian McKellen, Patrick Stewart, Hugh Jackman, James McAvoy, Michael Fassbender, all excellent actors. Okay, so they keep afloat films that really have no business being afloat.
I think that's an excellent statement, especially in light of the fact that think about how hard it is to recast, right? I mean, look at how hard it was for Superman to be recast when the late great Christopher Reeve portrayed Superman. They tried it with Brandon Routh. It was a one and done production. Henry Cavill came in with Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, and then obviously the much maligned Justice League. We're going to get to see one more shot with the Justice League Snyder Cut coming out next month. The only concern I do have is J.J. Abrams has been announced that he will be making the next Superman film, and it will be a reboot. What are your thoughts? I know you like the way I did that, and I love the way your face is just like all contorted because I wanted to just slam it right in your face, and hopefully you didn't know it, and just clearly with what you just did right now, you didn't. What are your thoughts? I hear Henry Cavill will still be maybe in a few other films. I'm not sure how that's going to pan out as far as like cameos and such. But what are your thoughts about Superman being rebooted once again?
Man, I think they're trying really hard to make this whole thing work. Like, J.J. Abrams lost me with the latest Star Wars films. Like, I think we've talked a little bit about it on here. My hatred for those. I trusted J.J. Abrams until these Star Wars films. Well,
I think a couple of things that you really need to understand with how that went down, right? Is one, you were upset with the first one because the first one really was just basically a ripoff of A New Hope, the first original Star Wars film. I think it's a fair statement, right?
Yeah.
Also, you can't blame him for the middle.
The second
right?
One wasn't his. was.
Right. It wasn't his. And I think therein lies the issue. There was no continuity with the story. And I felt like the story kind of like they completely got it wrong. And I don't want us to get too much into Star Wars weeds right now. But
J.J. Abrams.
But J.J. Abrams, Superman, what are your thoughts? He originally, just some back history for the listeners here, J.J. Abrams was originally supposed to direct a Superman film back in 2004, 2005. It was called Superman Flyby. I don't know exactly the extent of it, but what I understand was it involved alien invaders, all kinds of batshit crazy stuff. Superman's dad, Jor-El, who actually died with Krypton when Krypton blew up, would supposedly be alive as well. So I don't know how that would have all figured it out. But what are your thoughts with him putting his hands in the Superman, history or the Superman legacy, rather? Excuse me.
Okay, so he did a good job with Star Trek. I liked what he did with.
He did an excellent job with the first Star Trek.
I love Star Trek. Okay, so I thought that was good. He burned me on Star Wars. Don't like that.
He burned you good.
He burned me. Burned me good. I don't know if I can love again. I've been hurt. I got out of a bad relationship with J.J. Abrams, and now I'm hurt. So my point is,
you don't trust him.
I don't trust him. It doesn't even like I don't even know what to think about it, because it's just kind of that's weird that we're doing that. And it's also weird that we've been Warner Brothers can't decide what they want to do with these DC properties.
I agree.
So abundantly clear. They don't know what they want to do.
I agree.
And that annoys me, because I think that the DC characters themselves are amazing. I think that people are going to get pissed about this, but fuck it, here we go. The DC characters themselves, I think, are far more interesting than most of the Marvel ones, outside of maybe X-Men. Okay,
I completely agree with you.
But
I think that
they can't figure it out. Like they don't know what to do with it. They have no idea.
Yeah, and I think part of that problem was playing too much catch up with Marvel and trying to at first become like a Marvel, right? And build that Marvel world. I don't think it was necessary to build it in the way in which Marvel did. I think they should have focused on standalone feature films without trying to go so fast. I mean, listen, you and I both know if they really would have allowed it to marinate over a course of 10 movies, by the time the Justice League came out, it would have been probably as big as the Avengers. And the reason for that is you had the time to simmer and build up. Wouldn't you agree?
No, I would. Well, so Marvel with it, there's a lot of films in that arc that I don't really like. They're not all perfect films. There's a lot that leave a lot to be desired, but they took their time with it. They slow built along the way, and they had enough good movies to outweigh the subpar ones that by the end, you've earned the payoff. Justice League, they were just like, we had a couple movies, we can do this, and I would love to sit in these Warner Brothers executive meetings where they're discussing what they want to do with these properties, because they have no fucking idea. You cannot convince me there's a plan, because there's clearly not. Right now, they are spitballing, trying to figure out what works, and I'm annoyed by it to such a large degree.
I think our brother in Townie Sports, Vic, says that DC has the TV universe, and I don't know. I agree, I disagree. But here's a great segue into the fact that I did want to talk to you about what are your initial thoughts about the Superman and Lois TV show that is coming out on the CW.
No. You're getting me all fired up today.
Calm down. Remember, we had. Yeah, you're cursing a little bit there. I mean, you gotta be careful. We got a wide audience here. We're trying to reach a wide audience.
We've lost all the kids.
All right. Sorry. Well, but listen, you haven't. Have you seen any footage yet?
Care. The moment you said CW, I'm out. I don't care.
Well, I think that's juvenile of you. Come on, you should at least give it a chance.
Look, I've given their other shows a chance, and they were all trash. So You want me to like give it another chance with a Superman and Lois show, which is going to be like just teen drama shit that they put on all their other shows?
Listen, if you haven't had a chance, take a look at the trailer for the new CW Superman and Lois show. I thought it was pretty cool. The effects, the production value, it doesn't look like anything CW has done. They've put a lot of money behind it. The Sons and the conflict with the Sons, because they are just finding out his real identity, I think is an interesting dilemma. Familial dilemma? Yeah, dilemma. So I mean, I don't know. It's ground that hasn't been covered before, and frankly, I think it's interesting, and I'm gonna give it a shot.
Of course, you're gonna give it a shot.
No, don't. No, that's not true. Matt, listen. First, let me just say one thing. You are absolutely incorrect because, believe it or not, I did not watch the entirety of Smallville. Okay, I did not. I gave it a shot, but there were problems that I had that carried on throughout the seasons, and I watched it probably towards the last 2 years. I watched it on and off. I never really got into it. Crisis of Infinite Worlds or Planets or whatever they were doing, I didn't even watch that in its entirety. I watched the clips and that was it. So you can't say that I'm like just diehard going to jump on. I'll give it a shot, but doesn't mean I'm going to sip the Kool-Aid though.
I didn't say you were going to cool it. I said you were going to give it a shot because you're so in love with Superman.
No, that's absolutely untrue. Listen, it's unfair and it's typical of you to do that because here's the thing. You have so much and this happened, and listen, he's crossing it, so I'm going to invite him into the club here, or invite him into my side of the property, and I'm going to roast him a little bit, because we had a great episode where we talked about The Sopranos, right? And listen, for those of you that are listening right now, a little show called The Sopranos, Emmy Award winning, one of the best shows ever made, arguably, and what Kyle does is he watches about 55 minutes of the first pilot episode and makes up his mind to say that it's absolutely not his thing. So, that being said, I don't think that you give things a chance. I think that what you do is you pick and choose what you want to like. You never give it an opportunity, which is bringing me to Superman and Lois. You already have a preconceived idea of what that show is about, just like you did with Sopranos, which I was disappointed that you didn't give it a shot. Maybe you will eventually, but I thought that you were missing out on a great show, and I was very surprised that you didn't proceed further. So that is my rant. Yeah,
okay, fair, but let me just ask you this. You can ask, we can talk to Mr. Victor in the comments here as well. He hates Zack Snyder, okay? Hates him. Mm-hmm. Can't stand these films. You think he's going to give him another shot when he hates all the films that he's made? This is me in the CW. You've made a bunch of garbage stuff. Why am I going to just all of a sudden be like, oh, yeah, let me go watch this other thing?
Yeah,
I'm not interested.
I understand that, but it doesn't really kind of jive with the fact that all I simply asked was, hey, there's differences in what I've seen in production value with the previous shows that were on the CW, and I just said, why not give it a shot? Why not just watch the pilot? I do want to say Blake states that have we seen the Pennyworth series? He says it's pretty solid. I'm not surprised that Vic didn't like The Sopranos because again, it's not like it's a slow burn at first, and you have to really get invested in these characters that are frankly that are despicable. Well, I mean,
there's so many shows.
Listen, we are in not even the golden age of TV. We are in the we are in the platinum Nova stage of TV where what do we call it? TV? It's basically content all just shoved down your throat. More content. Me cookie, eating content. Streaming content. Movie content.
So therefore, I can be choosy.
Listen, I completely understand. You have your taste. I will say you're a little bougie sometimes when it comes to specific things that you choose. You're a little bougie, but I love you. but you're still a little bougie. Like, that's all I'm going to say.
But hey, look,
listen.
I'm giving WandaVision a stamp of approval today. What do you want from me?
Right. Well, let me put you in a corner here for a second.
Okay.
You have watched how many how many episodes, and everybody, we're kind of moving around, and I apologize but we're having a nice conversation, and I don't want to lose traction of this because I want to be right here for a moment. One, have you watched any more episodes of The Mandalorian?
I'm still 3 episodes into the second season.
Okay. What are your initial thoughts now that you've watched 3 episodes of the second season, sir?
Better than the first season, still doesn't blow my socks off.
Well, you haven't seen the entirety of it yet.
See, that's the thing, man. You want me to like watch every episode of everything before like judging
Well,
it,
I don't think
but that's so much invested
Yeah,
time.
but here's the thing, though. I don't think it's fair for you to okay, let's be honest here. The episodes are usually running, like, think about WandaVision. They're running about, which, by the way, I have a bone to pick. It's really petty, but come on, Marvel. 7-8 minutes of credits? Come on, you saw that, right? Dude, I'm so mad. I'm like, oh, we got a 45-minute episode. Yay! And it's like 32 minutes.
You have a 30-minute episode. I say that every time, because every time I'm forced to like scroll and check to make sure they didn't like drop something in the middle here.
I was so mad, dude. And then I wait to the end thinking, oh, they're gonna just throw something in there and we're gonna see something wild. No, credits. That's all you're giving me, credits. And then you go into the back of the end of the credits where you're like, in France, ils sont fiers pour son savoir la possibilité et de Léon. Dude, I was just pissy about that. But my point being is, getting back to The Mandalorian, is that each episode is approximately 35, 40 minutes. You can't judge something in that entirety. I understand where you're coming from, where you're like, well, it needs to grab me. But I just think when you're thinking about episodic television, it's going to you have to look at it from a total experience and from the beginning and to the end and the journey that happens within it. So I think that's really where you have to look at. Because think about this. When you watch a movie, there'll be points in the movie where you may be like, this is kind of dull. I don't get it, right? But then all of a sudden it ramps up and you're just like, holy shit, what the hell just happened here, right? And then you get totally invested in it. And then it just knocks your socks off by the end of the film.
But
Am I right?
That's a 3-hour experience. I'm like 7 hours into The Mandalorian now.
Yeah, but you went through first season, which I told you was not good. I said that there was a lot of problems with the first season. And I said to get through it so that you can see the second season. And listen, for all the listeners out there, I'd like to know, have you seen The Mandalorian? Have you seen
They all love The Mandalorian. I don't understand this, but like, literally Disney could like take a shit on a sidewalk and everybody would be just like clapping around it and praising it and holding it up on a pedestal. I don't get this. I don't get the Mandalorian thing. I really don't. I have a tough time with it. I don't know, man. But do you want to argue about Star Wars or
no?
Go with this?
No. My point is that you need to give. I think you need to give some opportunities to content before you make a full judgment when the content doesn't have an ending. It's like you're watching half of a movie and you're judging the movie.
No, listen. So WandaVision actually does this really well. So to bring things
This coming from the guy that said, the first episode was kind of dull.
But you know what I said?
I don't know.
But you know what I also said, if you'll go back and watch the tape, is that they are hinting at something that I find far more interesting than what's happening in the episode. And that's true. And that's what they've done. They've like dropped these little nuggets that keep me coming back, even though I didn't enjoy the first 2 episodes. That's how you do it. Is there's an overarching story that you're dropping nuggets about that keeps me coming back, and Mandalorian does not do that well.
Listen, fair enough. I just think you need to watch the entirety of The Mandalorian, and I think
Sopranos, the entirety of every.
I'm salty, as you would say, about The Sopranos because we got the most views on that show than we had in any of our other shows. And it was just one of those things where we had a lot of people that were interested in hearing what you had to say. Whether you liked it or not, they were interested in going down that ride with you. A ride that you did not want to go to.
Let me explain myself. Look, at some point, maybe we'll get through The Sopranos. Okay, I'm going to watch it. We're just not going to do it every week. Primarily because I go back and I watch that episode, and I'm bored to tears watching myself talk about it. That's how boring it was. I'm sitting there going, I'm so just meh about the whole thing. It's not that interesting.
Yeah, I wish you would have watched at least. Yeah, I wish you would have watched the second episode though. I think you would have. I think it would have been a far different experience.
Maybe we'll see after I watch the second episode, whenever that may be.
Right, and remember, you watched the pilot, which they did not have scripts.
I understand what the pilot is.
Well, clearly you don't, because you were so. Oh, this is just trash. Trash! I tell you, trash.
What's a drama queen? I didn't say anything was trash. I just said meh.
Well, but anyway.
Okay.
Listen, I digress. I'm not gonna, talk about it anymore. Maybe you'll get to watch it. Maybe you'll have an interest in watching it, and then we can review it later down the road. This year, we have a lot of things to talk about, right?
Like clusters of episodes,
yeah,
maybe.
Right. And I think that's a fair statement. Getting back to WandaVision, where does it go from here? We have another episode coming up this weekend on Friday. Where do you think it's headed? Obviously, the brother, Quicksilver, whom she thought was dead, has basically showed up from the multiverse or whatever dimension that he came from. Where does it go from here? Do we stay stuck into that world till the end of the season, or do you see it propelling outside of that controlled environment?
I think things are gonna escalate within the controlled environment, and then I think something happens at the end of the show that is like cataclysmic to the Marvel universe as a whole. That's what I think happens. And I do want to say, ballsy ass move putting this big of a thing with the whole we're bringing X-Men characters in a freaking TV show.
Yeah,
ballsy as hell.
I agree.
Damn.
I will say, speaking of ballsy, I do believe that we're probably going to see Captain Marvel sometime in this show. I believe that is being hinted at with Rambo's not Rambo, but Lieutenant Rambo or Captain Rambo's daughter.
Captain Photon, man.
Right. And
the cameo that no one really cares about. That cameo, yes, but it is probably going to happen. I so don't care about that. Captain Marvel, take her or leave her. Not interested.
All right, fair.
We talked about that film previously, just off of this show.
We have not talked about it. I would love to get into the Captain Marvel with you. So many people, I think, confuse the actress with
she is very
with the role. Yeah, but I don't think it's fair, though, to, she's playing a role, and I think that's what happens. Too many people become, they start seeing the actor, and then they get into the whole, I don't like the person that they are, and then, I don't like the role that they played. I thought she actually did a very good job with Captain Marvel. My thoughts.
It was okay. I don't know. Her as a person, and for anybody who's not aware of what I'm talking about, go watch any interviews that she did supporting that film. She comes across as a douchebag. Like she comes off as very full of herself. It turned a lot of people off, myself included. And it was so at odds with like Gal Gadot doing press releases for the first Wonder Woman film, because she comes off as very likable, very friendly, very humble. Like, she seems great, and Brie Larson was the exact opposite.
No, I agree.
So I agree. I think there's going to be this Captain Marvel cameo of some kind in this, because I think you and I had talked about that. Captain Rambo was texting somebody.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're talking with Victor and Sammy. I think we were in the same chat.
I think we were.
Yeah, and Victor goes, "Who was she texting?" And then we were both like, "Probably Captain Marvel." So I do think that's where it's going. It's just that's not the thing that interests me in this show.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be. I'm excited to see where it's headed. So I mean, again. It's a great show. My wife and I have been watching it together. She's not really into the whole Marvel, mythology. but she loves the show. And so I think that's where Marvel does a really good job with bringing people in, new people in, where they can bring something in that brings up, familiarity because of the whole 80s sitcom, 70s sitcom, that whole TV experience. It just, it resonates with viewers, especially the nostalgia factor. But ultimately, this is a badass show hidden inside a sitcom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I really believe that. A couple of things. One, Snyder Cut. It's coming. Obviously, you have this Joker reveal. We talked about it early on in the episode. Do you like what you see?
I'm interested. I don't. Victor's gonna get all pissy about this too. So just so everyone who's outside of like our little circle here, if you're watching this, Victor gets all on his high horse after these shows sometimes with my takes on things specifically about Zack Snyder. So I will reiterate this again because I'm going to double down on it. Zack Snyder is a great visual director. The show's going to look fucking great. It is. It's going to look good. The question is, does the story make any sense?
And by show he means the Justice League movie, right?
It's a miniseries.
Or miniseries, right?
Right. Sorry. The Snyder cut of the Justice League. It's gonna look great. Story, I don't know. I'm gonna watch it. Look.
That's one that you definitely want to have to unpeel. You got to unpeel that because there's some serious unpeeling to be done there because there's going to be so many reveals, so many different things that we'll want to talk about. I'm excited about it because I just want to see what they do with Superman and his arc because I thought he was completely underutilized and looked ridiculous with the mustache fake CGI. He looked creepy like Shrek.
It was weird. It was weird.
What did he say? He goes, "You won't let me live. You won't let me die." When he goes, "Tell me, do you bleed?"
After that film, I think it was you. I told, I go, man, that Mission Impossible movie better be fucking great.
Right.
It just ruined this other.
Wait,
film.
that is the Mount Everest of pettiness. Yeah. No, he can't shave it. No, we could put a beard. No. That's pettiness right there.
I'll tell you though. Spoiler alert: that Mission Impossible movie was great. So. I guess good for Mission Impossible. That was a really good film.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, his character was excellent. If you haven't seen it, go ahead and see it. We won't spoil it for you. But the character he portrayed was very interesting and definitely well
the
done.
Mustache in its full glory. I also
totally loved it.
I saw why the mustache was so hard to cover because it wasn't just like a
It was like a real. It was like a porn stash.
It was a dirt.
No. It was a Ron. It was a Ron Burgundy stash. From Anchorman.
It was robust.
Very robust. And he's a hairy man to begin with. That Henry Cavill. I mean, he's got hair everywhere.
You have shirtless pictures of him.
Well, let me ask you: have you seen The Witcher?
Yes, I've seen The Witcher.
Yeah, we'll need to talk about The Witcher as well. But listen, we could sit here and talk forever, but we are nearing the end of our show. So I just wanted to ask you anything on the horizon that you want to talk about that you're thinking of, like we should talk about? I know that we've been talking a lot about Marvel in this episode. Where do we go from here?
Well, it all depends on when this baby arrives. So you guys have all been very lucky because my wife could go into labor at any moment now. So we were preparing for a mid-show interruption of birth. Luckily, that has not happened. So Will I be here next week? Who knows?
Well, it's okay. If not, we'll have guest. We'll have a cardboard. This is what I will do. We'll have your picture up always, and we will just have different people filling in. And I think we get different fans that have different perspective on different topics.
Oh, okay. I know what I want. Here's what I want. Here's what I ask. I want you and Victor, whenever I'm gone, to discuss the film Sucker Punch. That's what I want.
The Zack Snyder trash.
That is my ask. I want to. That's a show that I want to see.
All right, very good.
I need Victor.
Or Watchmen. Or Watchmen.
No, don't do that. I love Watchmen.
Yeah,
I want to talk Watchmen.
All right.
Sucker Punch, specifically Sucker Punch.
That's gonna be a hard one to remember.
You have to go watch it again.
I know exactly. It was so unmemorable. So all right. So listen, we had a lot to talk about. I'm glad we unpeeled the entire episode of or the WandaVision, where it's headed. I'm really excited about that. Super Bowl. Congrats again to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, our hometown, for becoming going from the worst to world champion Super Bowl winners. The Buccaneers. Also, let me say I'm excited about the Snyder Cut again. I know it's going to be something we talk about in the future. We apologize for the audio earlier. We continue to try and make things better. Viewing experience, a better audio experience. And just keep in mind, we appreciate you guys sticking out with us. Tomorrow, there's a new episode of Townie Sports with those wild and crazy guys, Sammy and Vic, talking all about sports. I'm sure they're going to definitely unpeel the whole Super Bowl and what happened to the Chiefs and what went right, what went wrong, mostly what went wrong for the Chiefs on tomorrow's episode and whatever else they talk about. I mean, these guys are a wealth of sports information and sports fandom, really. So I look forward to getting a dose of my Townie Sports tomorrow at 8ish. I'm thinking these guys are usually around 8ish. So we'll talk about that. We'll be looking forward to that. Other than that, let me just say it's been a pleasure once again, Kyle, talking about movie fandom in the house of fandom. So once again, we're gonna leave. You like that, right?
I do like that. That's good.
We're gonna leave everyone off with the song that we continue to get copyright infringement by. We get copyright strike, whatever they want to call it, or hit.
They own the rights to the song.
Right, you own the rights to the song, but you know what? The YouTube says we don't give a shit. Give us our cut, and then we'll be good. But for some reason, we continue to get hit with it. I don't know why. But let me just leave us all out with another round of that song, which actually was released, right?
It's on all streaming platforms right now.
What's the name of that song?
From Within.
Ladies and gentlemen, From Within. Have a great night, Kyle. Is it playing, Kyle? I think we're muted. Can you hear me, Kyle? they can hear us.
You're
You didn't even know I'm on mute.